Thank you very much for a very warm welcome. And I mean warm. It is not this cold in Georgia where I live right now. Good evening again. What a great way to start the night. Thank you for the warm reception. First of all, I'd like to thank Bob Hines, President of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame, directors, members of the board, the selection committee, Bob Kula, Chairman, and particularly Pat Parente, who has guided me in the preparation for this great evening. Thanks, Pat. Also, I'd like to introduce my wife and friend of 36 years, Joan. I think she's back there. Okay. My son, Chris, and his wife, Kristen. And two beautiful grandchildren, Stephen and Sophie. I want to give a shout out to my sister Audrey, who lives in San Francisco, California. She was unable to attend this evening, but believe me, she is the best sister a brother could have. It is now, with great honor and humility, that I introduce a World War II veteran, a POW, and highly decorated soldier, my uncle Everett Johnson, who lives in Plainville, and his special friend Ann. I thank them for coming. Thinking of this night brought to mind many different thoughts. It's a great feeling to come back to Bristol, where I was born and raised. I realized it's not the touchdowns, it's not the tackles, it's not the blocks, not the distance of the discus, but it's about the people who influenced me and helped me with my sports passions and successes in football. These are the people I would like to recognize and say thank you. Number one, my physical and mental abilities were given to me by God. Without His help, I would not be here tonight. My interest in sports started on the Federal Green. At the time, there was no midget or organized football in Bristol. We would meet at the Green. Tom O'Brien, Jim Blageron, Paul Lincoln, Jim and Fred Lee, Jeff Page, and anyone we could round up. We didn't have too many takers. I was in the 6th grade at Thomas Patterson School. And after school, we didn't have video games to come home to. We had my mom saying, "Out of the house. The fresh air is good for you." I remember some of us had helmets and pads, and some of us did not have anything at all. The games got pretty rough, and usually ended with an injury or a fight. I was lucky to have my helmet. Got it from Al Zach. Al was the manager at Syracuse. Equipment manager at Syracuse. As you know, I had a big brother who played at Syracuse, so I had connections as a young kid. It was an old Rydell suspension helmet. Thank God for that helmet. Of most importance, thank you, Mom and Dad. My dad worked as a truck driver. My mom worked at Wallace Barnes for 26 years. They were the two hardest working people I ever known, and my number one fans. They showed me that hard work and giving 100% would be rewarding. It was. I received a scholarship to Syracuse University. In fact, it was my mom's first plane trip to LA, Los Angeles, to see me play against UCLA. It was a thrill to share this exciting time with my folks, who had been there for me all the way. I can remember my father, my uncles, Coach Gerber, all knocking on my dorm door at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning after leaving Bristol at 1 or 2 in the morning. Coach Gerber had a Friday night game. My dad finished his late Friday night deliveries. They all did what they had to do to make that Saturday afternoon game at Syracuse Archbold Stadium. Boy, were they exhausted. What a great team I had rooting for me. If only they knew there was support and love to me. It was the reason and force behind my game. I had to do well. I needed a reason for them to come back and see me play some more. I remember Southside and Patterson School, Miss Blackall, Miss French. I'll never forget that ruler on the hand. To top it off, what was I thinking? I told my mom, ouch, big mistake. She said, good, you probably deserved it. I have to admit it was probably well earned. Thanks to all my teachers, I grew appreciative of discipline and understanding of right and wrong. Thank you, Norm Gerber, Bob Daly, Tony Mosa, coaches of the football team. Coach Gerber many times put a helmet on and pads and went one-on-one with us. Not a pretty sight. Coach taught us toughness, technique, discipline, and even if we didn't win, he knew we gave 100%. When you have a brother who's 10 years older and is a high achiever, he's always first in everything. I was lucky. He taught me toughness. He is the definition of the word. I have not known anyone else who has taken the game with so much seriousness. At times, it was difficult. At times, it was difficult. Comparisons just made me work harder. I looked up to him. He was my influence to get to the college level and follow in his footsteps at Syracuse. Thank you, Al. I finally made it to the Bristol Hall of Fame. I wish he was here this morning, but I think he's stuck in the snow. He still lives in Canada. He just moved. He wanted to come a little bit south, so he moved from Regina, Saskatchewan to just over the Maine border, okay, in Canada. Thank you, Bristol, for the opportunities made available to me. You were the foundation for my high school, college, and pro career. I always have memories of never losing to Penn State, playing in the Sugar Bowl and Gator Bowl, playing with Larry Sanka and Floyd Little will never be forgotten. The most important thing was a college education, of which was unaffordable without football. Thank you, Bristol, and everyone for your help in developing my athletic skills and living my dream. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bill. Yep, good going.